Hello, everybody. This is Joe from PrepAgent. Hope you're having a good day. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up, and we'll be ready to begin. Oh, no, Heather, relax. You'll be okay. We're all going to be okay. Having a good conversation in the chat before we got started. Some nice people making some nice comments. Much appreciated. I referenced the Lauryn Hill song, The Fugees from the 90s, showing my age. Anybody know that song? Ready or not, here I come. Sometimes when you say the music you like, you kind of date yourself. Nobody else knows that song? I thought it was a pretty cool song. Okay, so today we are doing vocabulary, all right? So real quick, we got a lot of new people on the webinar today, so I want to go through some basic things. So first off, if you look at the website, on top, a lot of people ask me my advice, just right up there. We got some suggestions that I wrote up that you guys could reference anytime. That is through your control panel, okay? You could see what I say right there, but I'll go through it with you real quick right now. So right there is my advice. So I recommend you guys start with the vocabulary. Don't do anything until you do the vocabulary. Those who've been coming to the webinars before know this. You should not do a single question until you have the vocabulary nailed down. It is the foundation for everything. If you try doing questions without having the vocabulary nailed down, it'll just be an exercise in frustration. All right, guys? And what's worse is you'll start getting questions right by memorizing questions. And that's not good unless we have the exact questions that'll be on your exam, and I'm not promising that. But if you understand it and you understand the key words, if the questions are a little bit off from the questions you're doing, you'll be fine because you understand the key concept there. Has everybody got that? Okay, so we got to understand the vocabulary. So what we did is we put together a system that really focuses on that. So the very bottom here, you see the keyword outline, the vocabulary worksheet. Okay, everybody see that? One is a printout with it empty so that you could write in the definitions. Okay, that is very important. You could write in the definitions. Writing in the definitions will be an active way for you to learn. You could print it out, or you could just, open up a document on your computer and write it in. I want you to write in the definitions 10 at a time. And what I mean by that is be able to write in the definition for 1 through 10. Obviously, look things up, look it up on Google, through our website, any books you have, whatever can help you. Once you could write in those definitions without any help, then you do definition 10 through 20. Same thing. And then 20 through 30, and so on down the line. Then you go back and you do the same thing for word 1 through 20, then 20 through 40. Same thing. Then you should be able to go back and do it for, obviously, what am I going to say? 1 through 40, 40 through 80, until you can write in the whole thing. So you're writing in over and over and over again. Does everybody understand why I want you to take an active approach to learning and write it in? Please correct me if I'm wrong, but if you guys look at a vocabulary sheet and just stare at it, you'll look at it, you'll think you're learning. But if I say to you, okay, what'd you just read? You're like, I don't know. There's some words and like some definitions and something about a house and moving or something, okay? It's not really going to sink in. Who's done that? Who's like stared at it for 30 minutes, think you're learning, then you close the book and somebody says, okay, what did you just read? And you're like, I don't know. There was something, I'm not sure. Then you're frustrated. So being active in your learning will prevent that, okay? So one of these has it so you can fill it in, and the other one has what the definition's written in. You also have the exam prep ebook, which has all the explanations you need. You can find things by just hitting Control Find on it, and you're good to go, okay? We also have the flashcard system, which goes through vocabulary in a flashcard format. We'll take a look at it. This works very well on your mobile device. So that's another way to learn vocabulary. So while you're waiting in line at the post office, it's very mobile friendly, okay? And of course, we have the practice exam that just focus on vocabulary, which we're going to look at today, okay? So the vocabulary questions, and then you see the different categories here. You should master the vocabulary section to the best of your ability, obviously after you do the worksheet. Okay, so there's a process to that. After you've mastered these set of questions, then you do finance. When you get 80% above on that one consistently, then you do contracts. When you get 80% above on that one, then you move on to property ownership, so on down the line. And only then, and after all that, do you do the master exam with all comprehensive. Ginger, it's not an app, it's just mobile friendly. Okay, so does everybody understand that there's a process here of how you go about doing this? Give me a thumbs up. We don't just jump in and do questions. Does everybody got it? Say, yes, I understand. So it's really important to me that you guys follow this process because we spent a lot of time working with a lot of people to make sure they pass. And we've seen a lot of people get really frustrated. And with the dangers of doing questions first, for one, you memorize the questions. But the other thing, and this is really important, I want everybody to listen. Everybody listening here, everybody write, I'm listening. And this is a really important point that I want to make. Okay? When you guys do questions without understanding the material, you are learning wrong information. You are learning wrong information, and it'll ensure you're failing the exam. Okay? Very important. I'll repeat. If you do the questions without having a solid foundation, you'll be learning wrong information. And here's my point. If I ask you, for example, what color is the sky? All right? And the options are green, red, blue, and yellow. And you know it's blue, but you're like, you know what? I was in Arizona and the sunset is really pretty. Could be red and yellow. Red and yellow is really nice. That was the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen. But I know the answer is blue. You'll know it's blue, and that's fine. But when you go to take your exam and you're really nervous and you're really stressed, if you see that question of what color is the sky, okay, then you're going to say to yourself, well, I know it's blue, but there was something about red and yellow. What was that about red and yellow? I'm really nervous and anxious. Is this one of those trick questions? I know red and yellow was involved somehow. I wonder if that's important. And do you guys get my point here? You're going to start questioning yourself. I'm using an oversimplified example, but I think you guys get my point. I mean, does that make the point pretty well? You'll be seeing those wrong answers will come in. And also, here's another example. If I said to you, you guys do not need to know that caveat emptor means buyer beware. It's not on the exam. Caveat emptor is not important. What's going to happen? You guys are forever going to remember that caveat emptor is buyer beware. It's just the way our mind works. Has everybody got that? Sorry if I'm talking a little long about this, but it's really important to me that you guys follow the right process. I kind of use the analogy when you teach a kid to ride a bicycle. Who's ever taught their kids to ride a bicycle? The worst thing you could do when you teach a kid to ride a bicycle is say, you see that tree over there? Don't run into it. That tree could be in your way. Make sure you don't hit that tree. That tree is a really big tree, really dangerous. Don't go into that tree. What ends up happening? The kid rides the bicycle, he sees the tree, he's worried about tree, and magically he starts veering off into the tree, all right? And before you know it, whack, he's in the tree. Because you told him, don't go to the tree, don't go to the tree, don't go to the tree. The key to teaching a kid to ride a bicycle is focus on the positive. Say, stay on the path, stay on the road, look at the road, you're doing great. The road, the road, the road. You focus on what you want him to see, not the stuff you don't want him to see. And when you guys do those exam questions and you see 3 other options, you're seeing 3 trees, all right? Does that make sense, guys? Hopefully that helps. We don't want to run into the trees. So I'll say it again. Do not do exam questions until you have the vocabulary nailed down. I don't care what state you're in. I don't care what school you're in. Whatever it may be, that's the process you guys need to follow. Everybody got it? Yes or no? Everybody got it? Hopefully that was helpful. Was that helpful? I hope so. Okay. And Chrissy, every state's requirement is a little different regarding those things. All right, so let's jump into some vocabulary. Let's do some questions. All right, let's start an exam. So we're going to select 100 questions. We're not going to get into all of those, obviously, but let's go. The condensed history of title to a particular parcel of real estate consisting of a summary of the original grant and all subsequent conveyance and encumbrances affecting the property. A, plottage, B, abstract, C, accession, or D, lien. What do you guys think? Okay, and the answer is abstract. Once you see that word summary. So just to reiterate my point, these questions should be easy for you before you do the other questions. All right, these are easier than the exam prep questions. So you do these first. Remember, this is like our first step. So if you're nailing all these, then you're ready. If you're not nailing these, then you know, don't do those questions. Yeah, the screen's not clear. Go to the settings at the bottom. And as Adrian said, 480 or better. Most of you guys probably use 720 HD. But 480 or better will be fine. Thank you, Adrian. A measure usually of land equal to 160 square yards, 40,560 square feet in any shape. A lot, B, plot, C, acre, or D, board foot. What do you guys think? And the answer is acre. 43,560 square feet. Okay, you guys always hear people say what you need to know for the exam is not relevant what you're actually going to do. This is a perfect example that contradicts that. I cannot imagine working with a real estate agent who does not know how big an acre is. That'd be terrible. A written declaration by a person executing an instrument given before an officer authorized to give an oath, starting that the execution is of his own volition. A waiver, B, ratification, C, affirmation, or D, acknowledgement. The answer is D, acknowledgement. Have all of you guys joined our real estate exam study group? If not, Adrian, can you put the link to our real estate exam study group? It's a great group where people help each other, get a lot of great advice. Make sure when you join that group, answer the questions. The question is, what state are you in, and have you taken any courses? Honestly, guys, they're just questions to make sure you're not a spammer. It's the way we know you're real people. And when it says what state you're in, don't answer real estate. It's just our way of making sure so we don't have spammers. We don't want spammers in the group, right, guys? It's our way of filtering to make sure they're real people and not spammers. The addition of land by the action of water is known as A, appropriation, B, accession, C, accretion, or D, avulsion. C, accretion. Isn't this better with Adrian here? Don't you guys think so? I think it is. It's way better. Okay, so accretion is a gradual addition. What is avulsion? What's avulsion? What do you guys think? What's avulsion? What is avulsion? It's the tearing away of land. It's the tearing away of land. An opinion not made as a representation of fact, but intended to enhance the value of the property is A, eminenting, B, puffing, C, progression, or D, reversion. B, puffing. Puffing is the exaggeration of fact. I've all heard agents say, man, that's enormous, the biggest house I've ever seen in my life. It's not lying, but it's close. Any relationship in which a party acts for represents another under the authority of the latter is A, novation, B, tenancy, C, beneficiary, D, agency. What do you guys think? And the answer is D, agency, like James Bond. You guys know what I say about that. If you're not sure what to wear as a real estate agent when you practice real estate after you pass, if you're not one of those high fashion people who are a little confused, just watch a James Bond movie and dress like him. And ladies, just dress like the evil villain James Bond person. That is your blueprint of how to look super professional and fancy. Am I right, guys? I mean, who doesn't want to look like James Bond? Well, obviously the ladies don't. An agreement between an owner of real property and broker whereby the agent agrees to secure a buyer or a tenant for a specific property at a certain price and terms in return for a fee or commission. A, sales contract, B, agency, C, listing, or D, waiver. That's right, Patricia. The villains in James Bond are always super smooth as well. Okay, a listing is an employment contract. Does everybody understand that? A listing's an employment contract. What type of listing is it where you could hire more than one broker? What do you guys think? What type of listing can you hire more than one broker? Open listing. Good. That's an open listing. By the way, guys, today is a free open webinar. We do it once in a while, not consistently, not regularly. It's just something we do on a spur of a moment. If you want to come to these webinars regularly and consistently, it's part of our premium package. And as well, as part of that package, you can watch all the recorded versions of it. And obviously the chat is much smaller. There's a lot of people here. But if you guys want to do these regularly, it's part of our premium package. And there's a link to sign up for that Adrian just put up. Oh, no, he didn't put up something different. A link in the show notes. You can see a link in the show notes. Okay, the term concerning the shores of lakes and ocean is A, littoral, B, accretion, C, riparian, D, avulsion. Thanks, Andrea. Okay, so littoral. A lot of you guys remember littoral lake, riparian river, right? That's a memory technique a lot of you guys use. But what's the true definition of it? So littoral lake, riparian river is a memory technique. But what is that trying to help you remember? Like, what is it? What is that memory technique doing? So you hear littoral lake, riparian river. So littoral is when the body of water is not moving in a specific direction, kind of goes back and forth. Riparian means it is moving in a specific direction. Why is that important? Well, it affects the community in different ways. That's why it has different definitions. For example, if I'm your neighbor and you're on a lake, it doesn't really affect me. But if I'm your neighbor and you're on a river, well, now if you do something to that water that's not so great, it does affect me as that water moves in my direction. That's a very simplistic example, all right, but it's a good one to know. Richard, you may see it. I don't see the exam in front of you, but there's multiple exams. Circle or semicircle around the Earth in a north-south direction, always are touching and passing the poles, used as a guide in surveying, being placed 24 miles apart and running from a baseline. A, baseline, B, meridian, C, range line, or D, tier. And the answer is meridian. So these webinars are really good. It's not everything you should do for your learning. You should be learning the vocabulary, doing the questions, things of that nature. But it's good to get a foundation, just a basic overview, and more importantly, to keep you guys on tasks. If you come to these every day, or at least make a point of listening to one every day, it keeps you on task with your studies and kind of gets you in the right mindset. These webinars are only 40 minutes long, so obviously all your learning cannot be done through them, but it's a good chance to just get a basic overview. The specifics, whether it's stuff you don't understand or specifics to your state, because we only cover the national content here, that needs to be done on your own. But come to these webinars is a great way to keep you routine and keep you in the mindset of preparing for your exam. It's all part of a complete plan that you need to be successful. Okay, so let's move on to the flashcards. We're going to do some flashcards together. So this first one should be easy because we just went over it. Riparian rights. Riparian rights. Okay, moving body of water. Okay, by moving body of water. Good. So we want to define these things using as few words as possible. So tax shelter. What do you know about that one? Tax shelter. Tax shelter. Income tax. Good job, I'm real. Sale leaseback. Sale leaseback. Sale leaseback. This is how I'd like you guys to define this. Everybody write this down. A sale leaseback is when the vendor becomes the lessee. When the vendor becomes the lessee. It sure can, Ashley. When the vendor becomes the lessee. Basically, it means you sell your property, but you don't leave. You stay there and you become a tenant of the new owner. Everybody got it? The vendor becomes the lessee. What is the OREE rule? What is the OREE rule? So, Amanda, somebody want to do that for a business? So if you need capital for your business, it's a great way to get a lot of money. So if you believe that money could be better used by putting your business than getting the appreciation for the property, you take the money, you put it into your business, and your business grows tenfold, and you just become a tenant of the new owner. Now, obviously, you may lose in the equity and the appreciation of the property, but if your business is very successful, then you may make more money with your business. Okay, OREE. Lessor, vendor, optionor, giver, the proprietor for your pleasure. EE. Lessee, vendee, optionee, gives me property, makes me happy. Okay, I know it's ridiculous. Everybody says it all the time. And you feel silly, you feel ridiculous with these little songs and the videos with little cartoons. But when you take your exam and you're like, grantor, give or proprietor, boom. And when you pass, you're like, awesome, he's the best. You will sacrifice your pride when you're filling in those correct answers and you're walking out with a real estate license. Am I right or am I right? Okay, so remember that OREE rule. Are there any exceptions to the OREE rule? Are there any exceptions to the OREE rule? Okay, the ORE rule, there are no exceptions to it. There are no exceptions to it. I see some of you guys running mortgagor, mortgagee. That is not, let me explain. Let's get into that. So people say the OR is the exception when talking about mortgagor or mortgagee. Is not the exception because the reason a lot of people make that mistake, and a lot of people make the mistake, including I made it myself when I was studying, so it's very common, is they think of the money. But before you receive money, okay, you have to give a promissory note. You have to give a promissory note. I would not give you money before you give me some evidence that you're going to pay me back. That's that promissory note. So the OR is the borrower because before they receive money, they're giving that evidence of the debt, that promissory note, that pledge. Does that make sense for everybody? Everybody got that? It's a very common mistake, and I want you guys to nail it on your exam. You're welcome, guys. Okay, plottage. Plottage, what's that about? What's plottage? Consolidating lots, good. Increasing the value. One plus one plus three, good. By the way, in 1 hour, actually, excuse me, ooh, time flies. In 30 minutes from now, I'm going to be doing a webinar at my agent school channel. Everybody could join that. It's completely free. You don't have to pay anything. It's just something I'm doing to kind of help the community because I don't want you guys just to pass. I want you to be successful. And I talk about techniques to help you get business as a real estate agent, including things you could do before you pass. There's a lot of things you could do before you pass so that when you are passed, you're ready to go. Okay, you're all ready to go. Okay, I say it's free. Just subscribe to the channel and you'll get the updates. You can attend if you want. You don't have to, but it's just a good thing to do so that when you pass, you're ready to go. Yes, you can, Valerie. Okay, puffing. What is puffing? What is puffing? Yes, Jason, they are. That's all recorded on the Agent School YouTube channel. And that's all public. None of it's unlisted. It's all there. Okay, it's exaggerating. Quitclaim deed. Quitclaim deed. What is a quitclaim deed? A quitclaim deed is the fastest way to transfer title. It has no implied warranties. Good. Basically, that means what you say is what you get. All right. It's a quick way to transfer, usually done between family. It's not something you do with people you're not familiar with. So it's a way just to release responsibility. The Agent School, you could also access by just typing in the search in YouTube, Agent School. Just one word, Agent School. Here, I'll type it. Let me see here. Agent. Just make sure you do it one word like that. Ooh, Adrian posted it too. Okay, void. Void. What is a void contract? What do you guys think? What is a void contract? That's correct, Mike. Lawyers may do the quitclaim deed. I mean, I don't want to get too much into it because that may be above my pay grade. I just want to help you guys get past the exam. But I know when you actually practice real estate, especially when you get into legal trouble, quitclaim deeds come up. The specifics of it, as I said, I'm not a lawyer. It's not something I'm able to get into. Not because I don't want to. I just don't know that much about it. But I know enough for you guys to pass the exam. Okay, a void contract is lacking one of the 4 essential elements. What are the 4 essential elements of a contract? So a lot of you guys are writing a void contract lacks one of the 4 essential elements, which is great. That's absolutely the answer. So what are the 4 essential elements? Okay, so you have offer acceptance, lawful object, capable parties, and consideration. Offer and acceptance, lawful object, consideration, and capable parties. Okay? Does consideration need to be money? Does consideration have to be money? No, it does not have to be money. Good. Now, mutual consent is the same as offer acceptance and meeting of the minds. Some of you guys get that a little confused. I just want to clarify. Those 3 are the same thing. Okay, so agreement could be phrased as mutual consent, meeting of the minds, or offer and acceptance. All right, so everybody got that? Because sometimes that's confusing, because depending on the textbook, the teacher, the exam, it may be phrased in a different way, and I don't want you guys to get thrown off by that. All right, guys? So nobody who's here will ever get thrown off by that if they see it phrased in a different way. So mutual consent, offer and acceptance, meeting of the minds, all of them mean some form of an agreement. Everybody got it? When do you officially have agreement in a contract? What has to happen? What has to happen? So it's actually a 3-step process. 3-step process. Anybody know? So it's a 3-step process. So it's offer, acceptance, and communicate back the acceptance. That last part people miss, but just think. you made an offer on a property, and then the person accepted it, but you never heard from them, what would you do? You may go look for another property because you were none the wiser as accepted. Okay, so a lot of people miss that last part. So it's offer, acceptance, and communicate back that acceptance. Everybody get that? You can see why a lot of people miss that. So they think offer, acceptance, and they're done. But they often forget that if you don't communicate back the acceptance, right, then the buyer who made that offer has the right to go look for something else because they never heard from you. Makes sense, right, guys? All right, so that's it for today. I hope to see you guys at the Agent School webinar, which will start in 24 minutes. Other than that, I will see everybody soon. This is Joe from PrepAgent, and it's been a pleasure, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thanks, guys.